What's going on, world? What's going on? It's your main man, the author. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. Just want to make this brief video, man. This idea has been in my head for a few days now. And I was thinking about it, as I go to work, I do my day-to-day, and I examine the things that happen, and out of nowhere, a thought will pop into my head, especially as of recently. I've been getting a lot of ideas and inspiration and, inspirational thoughts. And I don't know where it's coming from. But, recently I've been getting plenty of ideas that have just been, circulating around. Call it I don't know, divine essence or presence, or a moment of clarity or enlightenment. I'm not sure, but I came to this conclusion, man. If things keep going the way they are going for black women, then they will have no choice but to date themselves. I repeat, if things continue to keep going the way they are going for black women, in terms of if they, i.e. the bad attitudes, things of that nature, if they keep going in that direction, then they will have no choice but to date each other. And it won't be anything cute. It'll just be like they are totally out of options. And here's where I've come to that conclusion. First and foremost, black women like to try to swipe at black men, saying that, oh yeah, okay, you dating other races of women, you hopping the fence, we'll hop the fence. We'll just date white men. More power to you. If a white man is crazy enough, or if he thinks that he can put up with your poor behavior, by all means, he can have you. I think the trade will work more in our favor than it will in his favor. Because once he gets a taste of you, whoo, don't want to quote Ric Flair, but, so basically, man, I mean, it's going to be a pretty bad situation. But, like I said, even I see my mother date white men and had white men just walk away from her very quickly to keep from probably striking her. Then I knew that it wasn't just me growing up, that she also had problems, emotional and probably mental problems, like the majority of black women out here. But first and foremost, let me narrow down how I came to this conclusion that black women just have to settle for dating one another and having no choice in the matter. Not like now where sometimes they can bounce back and forth, but or they do it to tease black men, but they won't have any choice. First and foremost, hopping the fence, going to another race is not gonna help black women. I repeat, hopping the fence is not gonna help black women. First and foremost, every other race of man on the planet is pretty much financially above the black man. And the higher you go up on the socio-economic ladder, the more feminine the women are. And what that means is those racial groups of men are not accustomed to dealing with masculine women. Even though as a whole, don't get me wrong, feminism has corrupted the entire gene pool of every race. However, when whites catch a cold, blacks catch pneumonia. So the most masculine on that scale, if you use the Darwin scheme or the Darwin scale, when Darwin talked about your more superior people being the lightest of color, and he went from light to yellow to brown to dark, and the darker you were, the more inhumane or lack of humanity you had in his Darwin scale. Even though at one point I do believe that there was nothing but people of my complexion on the planet, uh, with uh, with pH positive blood, no negative recessive blood. But this is the Darwin scheme where he talks about, uh, the lighter you are, the more superior you are. So that's the kind of scheme we're dealing with right now. So typically, the lighter you are, the more income you tend to have, right? That's why your light skin, on average, make a bit more than a dark skin, right? Dark skin blacks. My point being, most men aren't accustomed to being with masculine women, or at least women that are not as masculine as the black woman, or the women who suffer from the Medea complex. So, as far as the ruled attitude, a lot of these men aren't going to be able to take that. I think I told a story in my previous video about this ex-girlfriend I had. Her sister tried to hop the fence with this Spanish guy. They always thought, well, if I make 50,000, I can get a guy who makes 100,000. And her sister was lucky enough to date a Spanish guy who did make almost six figures, 90,000. He fucked her and then dumped her. And she was on the phone crying, and that's, I expected that, because these Spanish men and men of other races, their masculinity, they're not beaten down as bad as the black man has been. Most black men nowadays follow dykes. They'll follow a dyke. Some of them have been raised by dykes. So they'll listen to a dyke before they'll listen to they hate other men that look like them, but they'll follow a dyke, a black dyke. And that's the poison that has been administered in the psychology of the black boy. And when that boy becomes a man, if he's lucky enough to become a man, he'll keep that psyche, which will ultimately prohibit him from becoming not only a man, not only an alpha man, but even a beta male is going to be out of his reach. Which is why you do see an uprise in feminine men or delta men, or i.e. homosexuals or faggots. No, I don't want to use a derogatory term, but I think my audience knows what I mean. So I keep it raw here, So, but other men aren't going to be able to deal with the black woman's bad behavior. So hopping a fence is going to be almost impossible. And the higher you go up, you can start with Dominican men from the islands. You can go all the way up to Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Arab men, Asian men, and ultimately the white man. Well, we all know how he feels, and most men, first of all, don't date outside of their race. Even black men, most black men still date within their race, regardless of what black women say. I think the black man, 10% of black men date outside of their race. I think other races have a lower amount, where maybe 1% of the men date outside their race. So the black woman is looking at slim pickings either way. And when usually if a white man does date outside of his race, what does he pick? If he doesn't pick a white woman, he's gonna pick an Asian woman, a woman. Asians are pretty much, some Asians are doing better than whites in this country financially, right? And as a whole, on the world scale, China's military is pretty much behind the U.S.'s, so they're neck and neck, right? So the Asian woman, like the white woman, is very feminine as well. Some Asian women are much more feminine than white women, right? Because in China, they really haven't been subjectified to feminism like the white woman has in the West, i.e. the U.S., right? All right, so just breaking this down, and so it makes sense. Him being in a dominant alpha male position, he's going to be more attracted to females who are more feminine. The only men who are attracted to black females are the beta male or the beta boys who are raised by black females, or the gamma boys. Because now being a beta isn't used to be just alpha, and the lowest you can go is beta. But now with the black community, I mean, these are delta boys, gamma boys. I mean, they're way low on the totem pole, right? So they're being raised in single parent households. So the black boys are being raised by black females who teach them to want other black females with bad attitudes. I repeat, the black boys are being raised by black women who are teaching them to want other black women with bad attitudes, just like their mother, right? So they're the only ones who are dating black women. It used to be in the 60s where only a small handful of black men would date white women, for various reasons. Sometimes it was because of status. Some were, you might say, were selling out, but it was a small handful. Then in the 90s, a lot of your black men, even black men who had steady jobs, was starting to say, okay, man, maybe it's in my best interest to move on, right? But now in your 21st century, your 2018, man, a lot of these brothers, even the average guy on the street, is like, hey, man, maybe we should look to other greener pastures. Even your guy, barely making ends meet. As long as he's a working class man, I mean, the only guys who's gonna want black women are gonna be like thugs and the gangsters and the mamas, the thug mamas boys, the pretend tough guys, right? They're the only ones who pretty much want black women. They're pretty much the only ones who find they find when a female is masculine, they find that attractive. Even your average garbage man is pretty much saying, and not to look down on the garbage man. I hold all working class men in high regard. I used to wash dishes, so all working class men. If the government takes taxes from you, you could wash dishes, whatever, man. To me, you're better than any thug. I repeat, you could wash dishes, dump trash, whatever, man. We're all work. I'm for all working class men. All working class men are above thugs in my book. Okay, so pretty much because your underworld men can't make it in, and they can't even get a job scrubbing toilets. See, working class men can go to the underworld if they really want to. Underworld guys can't come to the working class table. So I look at all working class men as value. And I think all working class men are starting to open up their eyes and say, well, hey, look, man, maybe I should weigh my options, especially the guys who've been burnt by, they've had some baby mamas who were black and they've been burnt already. So they've chosen to go on the other side, man. I saw when I was in the military back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I saw a lot of those brothers stepping away from black women, going to white women, going to Asian women. My boy had dated a Hawaiian woman. I saw a lot of brothers stepping away from the plate, not just like in the 60s, rich brothers, but average brothers, working class brothers. And now 2018, even some of your thugs are starting to open their eyes and say, hey, look, man, maybe we should go in another direction. So a black woman or black women in general, not most of them, I'm sorry, most of them, yes, won't have any options. A minority of them, a small amount of black women who are still feminine, A lot of them are taken by white men or other races of men. Will take those women, and some brothers will get access to them as well. But you know, the white girls, I know, like a lot of the sorority females, they end up dating other sorority men. A lot of the but some of them have bad attitudes too, but they're just not as ghetto as the inner city woman who has never been to college. And you can debate me on that if you like, but I still would rather I would rather date the average Delta than the average hood chick. But at the same token, some brothers don't even want to deal with the sorority chicks, so um, they're looking at greener pastures, man. Either biracial females or Asian females. A lot of Asian females are interested in brothers, and brothers are just using their hyper masculine. Well, I mean they're painting. We're all painted hyper masculine, but we're looking at greener pastures. So with this movement that's starting to happen with the red pill and things like that, and MGTOW, and even brothers starting to wear their options, and the gender war that's kind of going on right now. Uh, other women are everyone's having to step back and take a look at what's going on in terms of male-female relationships. But black women are going to be hit the hardest, man, because at least a black man too. Now we might not get all of us might not get the best Asian women or the best white women, but we are still getting a lot of the cute ones. But a lot of black men, we're not that hard to please. So a lot of the Asian females and the white females, it's a lot of pressure on them by their men to look a certain way, to act a certain way. If they get with a black man, because we've been through such hard times with females, we'll just take a female who will shut the fuck up. And as long as you're not bigger than I am, then we'll work with you. So it'll always be a few Asian or white females that'll trickle down that we'll be able to still have. Arab females, ones who just feel like it's just too much pressure in their sphere. They just want to let their hair down and be themselves. So they'll go with a black man. Black man is going to be hounding them all the time about their weight. Excuse me, the average black man isn't going to be hounding the average Arab or Asian female about their weight, because she's probably around 120 to 140 already. So it's not going to be a big thing as long as you stay around that area. We're good, man. Even if they push 160. I mean, their man might say, ew, you're disgusting. But our women are like 300 or 400 pounds, right? Bigger than us. So we still have some room to go. Women don't have to worry about our attitude versus black females. I mean, other races of men have to put up with an attitude that we don't even want to put up with anymore. So a lot of these black women are going to be throwaways. They're going to have to deal with other black women. And then some black women can't even stand black women. So that's why a lot of them are dressing up looking like boys. Some of them you can't even tell a difference. You can't even tell if they're a boy or a woman. They know what's coming. So they know other races won't take them. They know black men are getting tired of them. So they're already setting the stage so they can start dating each other. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to work, because you see on World Star how many black females end up fighting other black females. I've heard of black dykes fighting other dykes. So, I mean, that's going to be a rough road as well. But it's getting to the point that that's going to be the black woman's only option. I mean, and then some of these guys that are getting with them, some of these guys who are all they have left is some of the guys who are coming out of prison, black men who are coming out of prison that may date them. But some of these guys, all they're doing is laying down with them. And by the time these guys bust a nut, they jump up and throw their drawers on and they drive home, man. Because, A lot of them don't even want to stay over. They don't even want to sleep there overnight because they know that the nonsense is going to start. The mouth, them being verbally bullied. Because a black female won't shut the fuck up until she gets her way. And it's not like black females can get with other races of men and turn that off. They can't. They can't help it. They can't help to keep talking and keep trying to dominate. And then, the attitude where they want so much and they need a nigga with money. And it's like, well, wait a minute, bitch, you broke. That's not going to fly. Brothers are waking up, man. Gotta have a brother with a black female, has to have a brother with a 6-pack and a big dick. But you flabby and you got a dry pussy, and then you don't even wash the pussy half the time. Because I know if you don't change your hair, if you let that weave stay in your hair for about 6 months, I don't believe you're washing your ass, your pussy. I don't believe it. And your nails sometimes ain't even done acrylic, so. Basically, they're going to be stuck in a rut, man. I mean, they're not going to have that. They're not going to have any options. There's nowhere literally to go. I mean, the black man still has a little bit of his hyper masculinity that the press plays on. So we're going to catch a trickle, and that trickle is enough from other races. That trickle is enough to sustain us. And you could say, well, even if you have defense, they're going to still call you nigga. Yeah, but black women still call black men nigga more than anybody. They always using the word nigga. And then they said, well, these other races of women are only using black men, for their convenience. They're only using black men for this or that. But black females are only using black men for this and that. So it's not like, the black man is losing either way. But, just thought I'd make this brief video, man. Be sure to like, subscribe. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you disagree. I'm sorry about that. Took a little red crimes. What is it? Is it red crimes? Yeah. Took a little bit of 19 red crimes. Took a little 19 crimes break there. But I appreciate all the feedback I've been getting. A lot of new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Again, I'm a straight shooter. I just, think about different ideas and I shoot them out there, man. I don't mind dialogue. If you want to make a comment, make a comment. We can go back and forth. But if I feel like it's not going anywhere and if someone's being blatantly disrespectful, then they will be blocked. But this is an open dialogue here. I'm just shooting shots. I'm not really shooting shots. I shouldn't say that. But I'm just having an open dialogue. Having a dialogue that most black men can't have with the average black female without them getting upset. So we're just having a dialogue between each other. And they said, well, what's your solution? Well, my solution is to seek out greener pastures. If things continue to work out, the black man has to survive. The working class black man has to survive as best he can. And there's no pro-black. I haven't gotten my pro-black award, so let me know if you've received yours. But again, this is your boy, the author, and y'all take care, and I'm signing out.